In ancient Bharat, there existed a divine forest known as Naimisharanya, a place sanctified by countless sages and blessed by the presence of the Supreme. Its tranquil atmosphere, sacred rivers, and towering trees made it the ideal land for meditation, penance, and the pursuit of eternal truth. From every corner of the land, great sages journeyed to this holy forest. Having mastered the Vedas and devoted their lives to righteousness, they assembled with one common purpose: to seek the highest spiritual wisdom that could benefit all beings. At the heart of the forest, the sages established a magnificent sacrificial arena. The sacred fire was kindled according to the eternal Vedic tradition, and offerings were made with unwavering faith, purifying both the surroundings and the hearts of those gathered. Thousands of revered rishis sat together in perfect harmony. Free from worldly desires, their minds were fixed upon the divine. The entire assembly radiated peace, discipline, and the sacred spirit of devotion. Among the assembled sages was the venerable Shaunaka Rishi, renowned for his wisdom and deep spiritual realization. With humility and compassion, he guided the gathering, determined to uncover the supreme path that leads humanity toward liberation. The sacred fire burned steadily, carrying every offering toward the heavens. Its rising flames symbolized the purification of ignorance and the ascent of sincere devotion toward the Supreme Lord. Even nature seemed to participate in this holy gathering. Birds sang gently, deer wandered fearlessly, and the cool forest breeze carried an atmosphere of serenity, as though all creation awaited the revelation of divine wisdom. The air resonated with the chanting of Vedic hymns. Every sacred syllable purified the surroundings, invoking divine grace and preparing the assembly to receive the timeless teachings preserved by the great sages. As the prayers concluded, the atmosphere became filled with divine radiance. It was as though the celestial realms themselves had blessed the sacred assembly, affirming the purity of their purpose and devotion. Palm leaf scriptures were respectfully arranged, sacred seats were prepared, and every sage settled into attentive silence. Their hearts longed not for material prosperity, but for the eternal truth that liberates every soul. An extraordinary silence spread across the forest. Every eye turned toward the place where the revered Suta Maharishi would soon arrive. The seekers patiently awaited the one who carried the sacred wisdom received from the ancient lineage of enlightened masters. The vast assembly of sages stood as a symbol of humanity's eternal quest for truth. United by humility and devotion, they represented generations of seekers determined to preserve the light of Sanatan Dharma for the welfare of the world. With folded hands and hearts filled with reverence, the sages offered their final prayers. They knew that the divine narration about to begin would illuminate the path of righteousness, devotion, and liberation for countless generations. Thus, within the sacred forest of Naimisharanya, the foundation was laid for one of the greatest spiritual discourses ever revealed, the sacred Shiv Mahapuran. In the next episode, the sages humbly approach Suta Maharishi, seeking the highest truth that leads every soul to Lord Shiva. As the sacred assembly waited in reverent silence, the venerable Suta Maharishi, disciple of the great sage Vedavyas and the keeper of the ancient Puranic wisdom, arrived at Naimisharanya. The assembled sages rose with respect, recognizing him as the worthy narrator of the eternal scriptures. With folded hands, sage Shaunaka and the assembled rishis welcomed Suta Maharishi. They offered him a seat of honor, water for hospitality, and the traditional marks of reverence. Their humility reflected the timeless tradition of honoring one's spiritual teacher. After accepting the respectful welcome, Suta Maharishi took his place upon the sacred Vyaspitha. His serene presence filled the entire assembly with peace, and every seeker prepared to receive the priceless treasure of divine knowledge. Sage Shaunaka, speaking on behalf of all the assembled sages, addressed Suta Maharishi with great humility. He praised his vast knowledge of the Vedas, the Puranas, and the sacred teachings handed down through the lineage of enlightened masters. Shaunaka said, "O revered Suta, we have gathered here not for worldly gain, but to understand that supreme knowledge which destroys ignorance, strengthens devotion, and leads every soul toward liberation." The sages spoke of the coming influence of Kali Yuga, an age in which righteousness declines, distractions increase, and human beings become overwhelmed by attachment, suffering, and ignorance. They desired a path that could uplift all people in such difficult times. The sages asked, among all forms of worship, austerity, charity, sacrifice, and spiritual disciplines, which path is the highest? What is the surest means by which a person may attain the grace of the Supreme Lord? They further asked, how may one understand the limitless glory of Lord Shiva, the eternal source of creation, preservation, and dissolution? Kindly reveal the sacred knowledge that brings devotion to him. Knowing Suta Mahamuni to be the guardian of ancient wisdom, the sages humbly requested him to narrate the Shiv Mahapuran, the sacred scripture that reveals the greatness, compassion, and divine play of Lord Shiva. The sages expressed their desire to hear the sacred Purana with complete faith and concentration. They understood that listening to divine knowledge with devotion purifies the heart and awakens true spiritual understanding. Seeing the sincerity, humility, and devotion of the assembled sages, Suta Mahamuni was deeply pleased. He recognized that such noble questions arise only in hearts that genuinely seek the welfare of all beings. Before beginning his discourse, Suta Mahamuni respectfully remembered his revered teachers and the sacred lineage through which this eternal wisdom had been preserved, from Lord Shiva to the ancient sages, and through Maharshi Vedavyas. The forest once again became silent. Every sage fixed his attention upon Suta Mahamuni. Even the gentle sounds of nature seemed to pause, as though the entire creation awaited the revelation of the divine truth. With folded hands and a peaceful smile, Suta Mahamuni prepared to speak. The sacred discourse that had guided countless generations was about to begin, carrying the eternal wisdom of Lord Shiva into the hearts of sincere seekers. Thus began the divine narration of the Shiv Mahapuran. In the next episode, Suta Mahamuni will reveal the incomparable greatness of this sacred scripture and explain why hearing it with devotion is considered one of the highest paths to spiritual liberation. Suta Mahamuni looked upon the assembled sages with compassion and said, O noble rishis, your questions are blessed, for they seek the welfare of all beings. Listen with unwavering faith as I reveal the greatness of the sacred Shiv Mahapuran. Suta declared that among the sacred scriptures praised by the sages, the Shiv Mahapuran shines as one of the most exalted. It is filled with divine wisdom and reveals the glory, compassion, and supreme nature of Lord Shiva. This sacred Purana was revealed for the upliftment of humanity. It removes ignorance, inspires devotion, strengthens righteousness, and guides sincere seekers toward the highest spiritual goal. Suta explained that even listening to the Shiv Mahapuran with faith and reverence purifies the heart. As darkness disappears before the rising sun, ignorance vanishes before the light of divine knowledge. He said that those who sincerely hear or recite this sacred scripture gradually become free from the burden of accumulated sins. Their minds become peaceful, pure, and devoted to the Supreme. The purpose of the Shiv Mahapuran is not merely to provide knowledge, but to awaken unwavering devotion to Lord Shiva. Through devotion, the heart becomes filled with humility, compassion, and inner peace. Whether one is learned or simple, wealthy or poor, young or old, every sincere seeker can benefit from this divine scripture. The path of devotion remains open to all who approach it with faith. The Shiv Mahapuran contains timeless teachings on devotion, righteous living, sacred duties, divine mysteries, and the eternal relationship between the soul and the Supreme Lord. Suta explained that Lord Shiva is easily pleased by sincere devotion. Even a small offering made with a pure heart becomes precious when filled with love and unwavering faith. Those who regularly listen to this sacred Purana develop purity of mind, strength of character, and devotion to the divine. Their lives gradually become filled with peace, wisdom, and spiritual joy. The sacred teachings of the Shiv Mahapuran free the mind from fear, attachment, and despair. By remembering the Lord with devotion, one gains courage to face every challenge in life. Suta declared that sincere hearing, reflection, and devotion inspired by this Purana ultimately lead the soul toward liberation. The highest blessing of human life is to realize the Supreme through devotion. The assembled sages listened with complete concentration. Their hearts overflowed with gratitude as they realized the immeasurable greatness of the sacred scripture they were about to hear. Suta Mahamuni gently reminded the sages that every sacred teaching should be received with humility, faith, and a pure heart. Only then does divine wisdom blossom into true realization. Having revealed the incomparable glory of the Shiv Mahapuran, Suta Mahamuni prepared to explain how its sacred wisdom has been preserved through the eternal Guru-Shishya tradition. In the next episode, the divine journey into the heart of the Shiv Mahapuran continues.